Because see, one thing you should remember, what is IPMAT testing you on? Huh? Verbal ability as in just your knowledge? No. Application, your ability to analyze. That's the main thing. Yeah? It's testing you on your ability to analyze. See how alert you are. So whether you can use your brain or not. Right? Anyone who can use their brain better, score better. Obviously. Yeah? Okay, so these are a few. Now we did participles ending with ing or en. Now when we talk about prepositional phrases, you remember we talked about this? No one remembers? Remember? What are prepositional phrases? Either they can go with just the noun or pronoun, and the other type of prepositional phrases are which go with the verbs or adjectives. So these we don't need to repeat. Now we were doing the specific prepositions and how to use them. What's the difference between at and in? We did this. At, when do you use at? Specific. Yeah. Or if you are like you have two entities. For the bigger one, say you have a country and a city you're talking about. Or a city and a specific location. So what will you use for the bigger one? In. Smaller one? At. This is what you must remember. Okay, out, on, out, and out of. On is usually used. If you're talking about movement, you use on. Like mode of transport. On. I'm on the train. On the bus. On the plane. Right? Or it is used with specific days of the week. Or specific dates. Out can be used in various ways. Get out of something. Or like usually it is taking out of the box. So it's associated with movement. You step out of the house, you step out of the car. Okay. You know how to use to? Various ways to use to. It can be used for comparison. Or like you are giving to somebody, like please give it to me. Into is associated with movement, usually. Right? So when we say step into the room, you won't say step in the room. It will always be step into the room. State of change. One thing changes into the other. Like the boy changed into a man. Like in Transformers, one form changes into the other. Okay, now when you are there's a movement into a space, you will use into. Is jumped in the well will be incorrect. Jumped into the well. When you are really interested in something, yeah. So we can say like I'm into football. Yeah, I'm into music. I'm into art. Means I'm really interested in that. In when do you use in? When it indicates just a position or location. There's no movement. So, or it is just a state of being. He is in sorrow. He is in grief. Right? Okay, till and until we've done this. When do you use till? There's a difference between using till and until. Till is usually used when you are indicating a point of time. Right? So, like from a particular point to a particular point. That will be till. Until.
It's like a maximum, like the limit at which you can.
Yeah. But it has to begin somewhere. Yeah. It's usually used with from or just a specific point of time. Now, when you talk about till and until, there is a very slight difference. You may get confused whether to use till or until. So what do? When you use until, means something is happening till a point. It's a continuous act. Yeah. So maybe an activity started and it is going on. Say the interview went on until 6 p.m. Right? Or the visa application, there were visa applicants in our waiting room until 7 p.m. So something was happening, continued to happen till to a point of time. So there you would use. There's a very slight difference, but yes, there is. Like he laughed until his belly ached. Here, so it's easy. You know, there's something happening. In these cases, you don't use till. Okay, on time and in time we did last time. On time is used when?
Like, I give it something like repeated in time. So that's against that like the person change the event. Like within the designated time.
Within the designated time. Yes. Till and until difference. Okay. That's why I said there's a slight difference between till and until. Now, until you usually use when an event is going or something is happening. Yes? Yes, what happened to you? Chalo, aaja, bahut sare baat hai. If everyone could come, you could also come. Okay, so usually you can think of the sentence this way. When you are talking about one point to the other point, or just a specific point of time, yeah, then you can use till. But if you're talking a continuous thing happening over a period of time, then you would use until. Okay, on time and time. Yes?
On time means like we ate it on time, like 6 p.m. was given. So he exactly reached at 6 p.m. So he reached on time, but 8 time means a specific period of time, right?
Within that time.
Yes.
Before. Yeah? Okay, there's something else also to it. Like in time is used when it is unscheduled. So if you say something, the meeting was to happen and he reached on time. Right? So if it is unscheduled, then the fire brigade reached in time to save the lives. So something which is not scheduled, usually you would use in time. And something that is scheduled will be on time. Like if we say He met me at the bottom of the expert run on time as we had agreed. So it was already decided we use on time. In the next sentence, the Sky Patrol arrived just in time to keep Jeff from breaking his neck. So this was not expected or scheduled. So in time. So this is important. We usually mess up with this. Yeah. So we don't know when to use in, when to use on. So when it is scheduled, you will use on. If it is not scheduled, something happens impromptu, emergency situations, in time. Yeah. Between and among. What's the difference between and among? Anyone?
Among means two people, between it's correct.
Other way around. It's the other way around.
Indefinite.
Yeah. So when it is a specific number of people, maybe two people, sometimes three also when you're talking about a closed group. But among will be used when there is when the count is not known. Larger group of people, right? So if it is a close relationship, then also you will say between. Yeah. Like he distributed his property between his two sons. So two sons between the two. Treaty was signed between the three parties. The three parties, close group, specific purpose, three parties. So among, between. If it is just countries, the treaty was signed among the countries. We don't know how many countries. So among in that case. Yeah. So among when there is more than two persons on this. For this?
Is it like between is only between two groups, or it can be more of?
Two or three when there is specific purpose and close relationship. Yeah?
Means it's between two groups.
If it is two groups or two people, then it is between. If it is you're talking about all the people in the group, then it will be among. Yeah. So when it is a larger entity, that is more entities, then among. We don't know how many. If we know how many, we can say we. Right? So, and if it is usually more than three, you will be preferably using among, not before, even if you know how. So more than two or three, then among. So he was happy to be among his friends again. You don't know how many friends. He distributed his property among the poor. It's more generalized. So if it is more generalized, you will go for among. Otherwise, between. Okay, with and by. You are doing something using a particular instrument. You'll use with or by? With. With. And when will you use by?
It's subject change, like say using the instrument to do something like to cut a tree. So you would say I cut a tree with an axe. But if you are using the tool for suppose like something different other than doing something, you say by like I had used the tool. I think that this last upstairs. You can see that.
Okay, let's see. Now, usually we use with. With is used for the instrument, like by definition, and by is used for the agent. That's what they say. Now, what do you mean by agent? Just a little example. The snake was killed by him. Who killed the snake? Like you will say, the tree was cut by me. So if you, another thing you can take is like, when you are using indirect speech or passive voice. In passive voice, you use by. Something was done by somebody. And using something, that will be with. Right? So using a particular instrument, it will be with. Okay. So Haranya, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, now beside and besides. We've come across this earlier also. What's the difference between beside and besides? Anybody?
I think the side is when you're next to a person or a living animate thing. Side is when you're next to an animal. Like suppose a building. Let's say, for example, and besides the building. And like recently, size of one, we say.
Anything related to position will always be beside. Whether it is animate or inanimate. Right? So position is beside. What about besides? No? Something else, something other than. Yeah, that's when you use besides. So when you have, now this is another pair of words you will very commonly we find in the sentence correction marks. So remember one thing, that IPMAT will give you questions where they know you are going to fail. They know you will miss out on it. Yeah. So beside and besides is one of them. So when you get these words, now why are we doing these pair of words? Because these are important. They will come, and you know by that there's very little difference, or even if there's difference, there is a chance to miss out on it. Right? So instead of beside, they may give you the word besides. And if you don't identify the word, you can identify the error. Right? So beside is at the side of. For example, he was sitting beside Salah. We camp beside a lake. The office is beside the station. So beside is usually next to or at the side of. Besides will be in addition to. We have to study maths besides studying English or besides studying chemistry. He has a car besides a motorcycle. In addition to or along. Besides doing the cooking, I help. Right? What about under and underneath? They mean the same, right? No? Okay, what's the difference? Under and underneath. They both means below something. So when do you use under and when do you use underneath?
That means exactly.
Exactly below something.
Yeah.
Okay, what about under?
It's like after some product on. Is under related to some moving object.
Moving object. Let's see. Anything else? No? Now the difference is under is used for living beings. Underneath is never used for living beings. Right? Like he was hiding under the bed, not underneath the bed. Right? Underneath will not be used for living beings. Okay? under for living things, underneath is used for non-living things, not for living things. Sometimes under can also be used for living, non-living things. Yeah. But usually you use underneath. So that's the difference. So it is related to position below something, but for living things you will use under. Non-living things you will use underneath. If it is a location that is just placed, say the book is underneath the rack. Yeah. Now what about the cat? Cat is under, sitting under, not sitting underneath. But what about a river flowing under a bridge? Is that correct? We say the river flowing under the bridge because the river has movement. It is more like a living thing, right? So, as we always say, there are rules and there are exceptions. So you have to figure out the context. What is it actually doing? Right? What about on and upon? On and upon. What's the difference? You want to come in front? Huh? You can see, I can't see you. Okay, what's the difference between on and upon? Not sure? Think of a sentence with on. I sat on the chair.
It's the same thing, right? Or as a position of one's hands.
Sort of, not really. Will you say I sat upon the chair?
Yes, upon the active parts and your head. You said on the table. Like once upon a time.
Yeah, once upon a time you can say. But when you're talking about like a position, when would you use on and when would you use on? Yes. On is used when two things touch each other. Right? So something is kept on, something else touching each other. It is upon. On. So now, why won't we use upon for that?
They're not the same.
Okay, now upon will be used when something is located upon. Right? Or it is like it is not kept, but there is you can also be used for movement, right? Like the cat jumped upon the chair. He wasn't sitting. If you say the cat was sitting on the chair, jumped
One.
on. So when instead of on to, you can use upon. Right? So you will not say the cat jumped on the chair. So when you are talking about movement and something is coming over something else, then you will use upon. Right? So there's a difference between on and upon. What about off and OF, off and OF? This is another very commonly, you will come across this very common. A question to read. OF and OF, what's the difference? Off, when you use OF off.
They're very close to this.
After into something belonging to, mostly with position. Yeah. Belongs to or he is of the opinion that. So when do you use OFF? Turn off the light. Turn off the switch. Anything else? Yeah, we can say. Anything else? Jumped off the cliff. Right? So, off is location or belonging. Yeah. When they're talking about location, then off is the position. It is a stable position. And when you're talking about off, so off can be position, a friend of mine, the sound of music. Part of a group. They also we can use off. Is one of us a member of the team. Measurement, a cup of milk, a meter of cloth, right? Off, as we said, we can use it as put off the switch means what? What are we talking about? You are removing the connection. So when it relates to removing or changing position, you will use OFF. Yeah, like keep off the glass or at some distance away from. Bombay High is off the coast. Yeah, the building is off the road. You don't walk on the road, you walk on the pavement, means you walk off the road. So OF off and OFF off both can be used for position, but functions are. So this before, after, and afterwards. Before we know when before is. What about after and afterwards? Any difference between after and afterwards? Well, think of how after could be used. Any sentence?
Maybe here the second task get discovered, right? When you have to the next task, so after is used and afterwards is used, then we are not completed with the current task. Which occurring task.
Like there's a gap of time. Yeah, I will do it afterwards. I did this off. I will do this after I finish my work. Yeah, so there you would use after. Any other ways to use afterwards? Or to use after? The police came after him. You use after in that case. What does that mean? For or looking for. Now, before we know when to use before, when you have say two events, one happened before the other. The train had left before he reached the station. Yeah. Another thing, if you notice, you use train had left. You won't say the train left before he reached. Remember past participle? When two actions are happening, one before the other, we use past participle. So had. The after is usually used with a adverb, like something is done related to action. Afterwards can be used to modify, usually this is wrong. After is followed by a noun, pronoun, or gerund. Like after visiting them, we came back. You can say that? Your visiting is what? It's a verb, adjective, gerund. What is it? Is it a verb? No. What is it? It's a gerund. Yeah? Visiting here is talking about what you did. It's a noun form. So it's a gerund. We visited them and afterwards they came back. What are we talking about? Happened after a period of time. Right? Soon afterwards, I got a call from him. Again, there's a gap of time. So if it indicates a gap of time, you can use. If something is happening immediately or something is happening together with something else, you will use. Slight difference, but important. Since, from, and for, very important. We get this all the time. When we use since, you know by now. Since is used.
I period like I've been at it since 10 a.m.
So it means from a point of time to another point of time. So it is a continuous process. It's since. What about from?
Except that when I been working, I will work from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Like
So when you're talking about two specific points of time. For is usually used when you're talking about a period or for a period which is known for the Diwali holidays. Yeah. So a specific known period of time you can use for. Let's see what this is. So since is used denotes a point of time and never for a period of time. Yeah, something that began and is continued. It has been raining since 6 o'clock. Since can also be used as an adverb. How? I haven't seen him since. What does that indicate? Says he left school in 1983. Now, if we just reformat the sentence, I haven't seen him since he left school. That's also correct. Right? Now, suppose if you have to correct a sentence, an underlined portion, and that since is not in the beginning, it comes at the end of the sentence. It's also correct. Yeah, I haven't seen him since. So, since he left school. That's also correct. So, the from is used with to, till, or until. From a point, till a point, to a point, or until a. Most people work from 8 to 6. Okay? The from is also used when you're talking about belonging to a place. Like we are all from Mumbai. Or we are all from Nayu. The delegates are expected to come from Germany. So they belong to a place. We can use from. For, we all know, for a duration of action. For I have worked with this company for 11 months. Specifically, a period of time. Now, in this sentence, if you had since, if they say, change the sentence using since. Can we do that?
I have been working since 11 years.
Pardon? Harini?
I have been working in this company since 11 years.
Will it be correct?
Ma'am, but we need the exact point of time, right? So the year, date, whatever it was 11 years ago.
So we cannot use since in this sentence. We know only 11 years, we don't know when it began. Right? So if they give you since instead of for, it will be wrong. Okay, during and for. Is there a difference? What's the difference? When would you use during? When will you use for? Or can they be interchangeable? Think. During will be for a period, ongoing period of time, and for a specific period. So usually when we say during is used for known periods of time. Yes. Say we are talking about a specific period. Say during Christmas, all schools are closed. During Diwali, we usually go on vacation. Right? So it's a known period of time, but specifically when the period is known by a name. Then we use during. Like during winter, in history we say during Middle Ages. Yeah. Now when we talk about for, it's also for known periods of time, but without a name. Or something more. I went there for the summer. Yeah. So I went to my granny's place for the summer vacation. Or for the entire summer. So it's a longer period of time or a period of time without a specific name. So during and for, there is a slight difference. I hope you have noted it down. Okay, what about above and over? When do you use above, when do you use over? Both mean the same, denote the same. But what's the difference in usage? But
over can be also used when something has ended. And
yeah, has ended, something got over. Here we are talking about difference between above and over as such. Anything specific? Related to position?
not sure, but maybe over is something which is like moving, like we can say the cloud.
Flew over,
Yeah.
ran over. Yeah, something with movement can be used for it. Okay, let's see.
And above when something is directly, yeah, like there, like a bird is sitting above the people. No.
So above is used when you're talking about a position which is higher, but there's no contact. Right? No contact means the bird is not sitting above, but is sitting over. When you are talking about no contact, then it is what? Repeat. It is above. Right? Above and over both relate to something higher than another position. Over when there is movement or There could be something hanging. So the position is over, not above. You keep the book above the, you keep the book above the table. On the table, the book is kept above the table. You can say that. But the light or the fan is over your head or above your head. We usually say this is above me. This is over me.
And but over implied with the
Over or a position which is not in contact. Right?
is above our head.
We say,
over our head.
we do say, but we say a lot of things which are grammatically, textually incorrect.
So it's over our head.
Wow. Like idiomatically, what you say? A roof over his head.
Yes.
Right? You say roof above his head? No. Over. So if there is contact, it will be above. If there is no contact, it will be over.
Give an example of above.
Example. So, like above can relate to a higher position. The picture is above the sofa. It's not touching the sofa, it is somewhere on the wall above the sofa. Right? Like no contact of movement. The clouds are above the mountains. They're not in contact? Okay, so we can also talk about something like higher degree of quantity. What about marks? You have to score above. You have to score above 80, right? You won't say over. He got over 80, no, above 80. Right? So when you're talking about things that are in contact with each other, you will say what? Over. But if the other things which there is no contact, you will use above.
So whenever the cloud is denoted, we use above.
Above. Not over. Like the temperature is above freezing point, not over. Yeah. Like above, you say above sea level. Okay, now there's another thing. When you're talking about the plane flying, what do we say? There are always exceptions, common usage. The plane flew over the city. There we don't say above. The plane is above the city, as in position. Flew over.
Remember total telling.
Depends upon what you're talking about. If you're talking about movement, then what do we use for movement? Over. Yeah? Yeah. If you're talking about position, so when we talk about position, we say above. So here we are talking about position. When it implies movement, we won't use above, we will say over.
various amount of clouds.
Huh?
Various flying amount of clouds.
Flying. When you talk about flying, what are you talking about? Movement. So we say over. So remember one thing, if something is in contact, we use
Over.
over. Something is not in contact, we use above. But when there is something is not in contact but is in movement, we can use over. But if you're talking about just position, like the plane is over the city or above the city, it just is, not flying. Above. It is above the clouds. It is flying over the clouds. Yeah. So when movement comes in, we will use over. You remember this? Now something else, like the cat jumped over the fence. There is movement. Or it could also be like the bridge goes over the river. It crosses the river. So if we analyze a little more, there is a sort of movement in that. Right? It's not just placed. It goes. It goes over. When we talk about a certain amount, we can also say over. That is, the price is over 10 rupees. Right? Yes, everyone at the back corners. Are you paying attention? You want to sleep? So can you sit straight? Yes. You can please come. You can see from there also. अभी तक क्यों नहीं बोला? Okay, everyone can see. Now phrasal verbs turnover. When we use any sentence with turnover. Think. Hand over. You hand over the responsibility, hand over the papers, come over there also we can use. So over can be used with verbs as in phrasal verbs also. More than, I'm over 30 years old, then you use with numbers. Movement, like the blanket is over the bed. Above or over? It is covering. So we are talking about what? We're talking about contact. So over. So these combinations you will remember, or the differences between the usage of those words. Right? Okay. Now we come to some verb preposition combinations. Certain verbs are used with certain type of words. For example, about. What do we use about? You worry about, complain about. I read about this. So about is used with these type of words. He worries about the future, complained about the old work. Anything else? Anything else that comes with, goes with about? I am about to go to the market. Yeah. About to can be used. Anything else?
Explains about.
Explained about. Right. Discussed about. At. Commonly used. Arrive at. We are talking about verbs with the prepositions. So you smile at somebody. Look at something. Right? Arrive at the airport. From. Suffer from. I'm suffering from fever. Differ from. Anything else?
Coming from.
Coming
Coming from.
Coming from. Anything else? Now I've just given a few examples. You will find more. Right? I want a list of words which go with from. Suffer from dementia. Can I think of something more? Quickly. Right? So you look up more words. If I tell you in class, most of you won't even remember till the lesson. Yes or no? याद नहीं रहता ना? So you will put in some effort and find. Okay. For. Account. For. Allow. When do you use allow for? Do you use allow for?
I don't use it.
Search for you do. Just read a sentence. Account for you know? How to use account for? Like be sure to account for any discrepancies. You are accountable for your work. You need to account for all your mistakes. Okay? Allow for. I return the transcripts of the interviewees to allow for revisions. Yeah?
Just put in request and man allows for the break. So that next year.
Yeah, there is no break allowed for in this lecture.
Allow or
Anything else allow for? Anything else? Allow for? The judges allowed for
they
bail, allowed for bail. Yeah. So allow will all can go with for. Search for, you know, always go with for. In, occur in, yeah, result in, succeed in. The recruitment strategies resulted in finding 10 participants. She will succeed in completing her degree. Anything else that comes to mind? Pelina, social center. Think. We need to think. These are words we use always Beginning. Okay, you will look up these also. Off. Approve of. Consist of something. Smell of.
Taste of.
Taste of. On account of. Can you do that? Are you feeling sleepy? Consists of, you can use on. On goes with words like concentrate, depend on somebody. I insist on, or the teacher insists on doing the exercise in class. Yeah. Concentrate on the word. So these are just a couple of examples. Belong to. You belong to something, or this book belongs to me. Right? The bears belong to the family of animals. Contribute, also contribute to the group task, contribute to the project, lead to. My results will lead to future research on the topic. Hard work leads to success. Therefore, always goes with to. You refer to something. With can go with a lot of things. Right? Like agree with or disagree with, argue with. Deal, you deal with the problem. Cope with. So those were some, you can look for more. So that's where a little group can be helpful. What's up? React to Kriya. Huh? Okay. You can ask who was doing the, you are doing the group. So please include all those people who are not there as yet. Some new people who are not there in the group. Or groupmate, please share your words in the group. Like if I say, look for more preposition verb combinations. Share on the group. Right? I want that group to be active. It shouldn't be a teacher's group, it should be a student's group. Yeah? Your interactions in the group are important. I post something, somebody wants to read, not bother. Anybody looked at what I posted last week? You did. Huh? What was it?
Similar words typing differently also. The word and sense.
And I asked you in the beginning only.
Also, you have sent a lot of words.
So you have to share your words. Right? So all these things, confusing words, maybe you have a doubt. Okay? And make sure your number is added to the group, and please put in the names instead of just numbers. Yeah? Okay. So now we come up with conjunctions. We know what conjunctions are. So we'll keep this short. Can you give me an example of conjunctions? And yes, most commonly used, and what else? But anything else? So we have the fan voice conjunctions. Do you remember? You've done?
for land.
Yeah. So that's an acronym for, what are they? F, A, and so when you say fanboys, we mean these are all conjunctions. What type of conjunctions? So for, and, no, but, or, yet, so. These are conjunctions. What do they do? What do conjunctions do?
They can make say,
They connect sentences, they connect words, they connect phrases, they connect parts of sentences.
so,
Pardon?
says, people, stuff,
Yes. So there's what do full stop and commas do? They connect ideas. So they can be used instead of full stop and commas also. But there are rules. Now, yeah, we don't need to learn all the rules regarding punctuations, but in some of the exams, you can get questions related to punctuations. So we'll do some punctuations. So talking about the conjunctions. Yeah. हाँ अभी से 5 मिनट ब्रेक मैंने मुझे फिर टाइम टेबल में 5 मिनट्स एक्स्ट्रा कराना पड़ेगा. Some easy things ना अभी खत्म करते हैं. So now we have coordinating conjunctions. What are coordinating conjunctions? What do you mean by coordinating?
Ma'am, they join two main clauses, ma'am. Two ideas of similar rank.
Right. So when we are talking about things which are similar in nature, we can use coordinating conjunctions. So these are all coordinating. Fanboys are all coordinating conjunctions. For, and, no, but, or, yet, so is a coordinating conjunctions. So we use them within sentences, right? For ideas that are similar. He is slow, but he is sure. What are the ideas? Two things that one person is doing.
He is slow, he is sure.
So there are two adjectives. Slow, sure are adjectives. You're connecting adjectives with but. What does but signify?
it's a reason,
It's a reason.
not exactly a reason, but
It's a contrast. But is a contrast. Yet is a contrast. Right? When you have two contrasting ideas, you will use but or yet. When do you use so? So is used when we are talking about cause and effect relationship. So something happens because of something else. So we can use
it's a good of ideas.
yeah. And we know when to use and. Connects to words, to nouns, to verbs. So words, phrases, verbs, we can use and. Now there are certain rules of using and related to punctuations. Yeah, like when you have two parts of a sentence. Now, if you remember clauses, do you remember clauses? Independent clauses and dependent clauses? No idea, no? So we'll not talk about that. It's a huge chapter, right? So when you are connecting words, you are or something of similar rank like Mark and Chris, both are people, right? So you are using quadratic conjunctions. Now what are correlative conjunctions? We have done correlative conjunctions. Remember? Subject verb agreement में correlative conjunctions आए थे. What were they? I don't remember. Is this either or, either no, but yet, yeah, not only but also, these are correlative conjunctions. So apart from looking for the subjects and the verbs, you also have to see whether they are in the correct pair. Like you have both, it will be followed by and. If you have either, it will be followed by or. Neither has to be followed by no. Or you can say neither of them. But if you have two nouns, neither, no. Right? Not only, always followed by but also. These are very important. You have to correct a sentence. You could not identify the pairs of conjunctions. So, correlative conjunctions are important when you are correcting sentences or identifying errors. Yeah, so these will always come in pairs. Whether, yes, put off the AC, you will go. Okay. Not you. You are. You're feeling cold? Huh? You're not feeling cold. बंद करे नहीं करे ये तो फैन चला दे Okay, whether will be followed by or. Right? So and so is followed by as. These will come in pairs. Hardly will always come with when. Hardly had I stepped out when it started raining. Right? If there. So you must remember these pairs. Right? So if you find but only in the beginning of the sentence, what are you looking for? Sorry, not only in the beginning of the sentence, what will you look for? But only in the second part. Neither in the first part or neither before one noun. What will you look for? No. So always remember these correlative conjunctions are very important. So in a sentence, they will give you both in the beginning and will be missing. So you know that is incorrect. Okay. Okay, we have more here. What with? How do you use it in a sentence? What with an and? You're thinking of something? We really use it. What with this book and okay. What with how do you use it?
What's with
What with is usually used when you are talking of something negative. What with your going to the gym
Ma'am, we use with what more frequently than we use what with, right?
no, what with is a phrase in itself that is used.
All right. Ma'am, but with what is also correct.
What will not be followed by and.
Okay.
What will be followed by and. Just as the comparing will be followed by so. As is followed by as. As. Yeah. We've done this earlier also. Like either or. Either he is mad or he feigns madness. What's the meaning of feigns? F-E-I-G-N-S. Meaning of feigns. Look at the sentence, try to figure out.
Behaves.
Related to behavior. What's about false behavior? Right? Feigns means false behavior. False behavior. Fake behavior. Yeah, fake false. Not only homes but also apartments are now built underground. Not only followed by but also. So those were coordinating conjunctions which come in pairs. Right? Okay. What about subordinating conjunctions? My dear? Because words like because, although, therefore, however, these are subordinating conjunctions. So what do subordinating conjunctions do? They connect two ideas which are not of the same level. Right? So where you can't use and or so, you use because. So, and usually it is when one idea is more important than the other. So you will find these conjunctions usually when you have one independent clause and one dependent clause in a sentence. So it's connecting the dependent clause to the independent clause. Now you'll say, what is an independent clause? Any part of a sentence which can stand as a complete sentence. And independent, that is an independent clause. What's a dependent clause?
That needs another sentence.
Yeah, it needs the independent clause to complete it. So dependent clause will be usually when you're talking about modifiers, they come as dependent clauses. Right? So dependent clauses will always have the subordinating conjunctions attached to it. Right? So what do subordinating clauses do? They may give you time, reason, condition, etc. Like after. What is after giving you? When do you use after? Time. Right? So after is telling you when you in a sentence if you use after, it will be something happens after another event. I will say after it stopped raining, I went to the market. Now after it stopped raining and I went to the market are two different ideas. They're not the same idea. So you are connecting two different ideas. Okay, now if I look at the part after I went to the market, is it a complete sentence? Is it a complete sentence? No. What will be a complete sentence? I went to the market. Now, if you have two sentences, I went to the market, it stopped raining. How do you connect them? You use a subordinating conjunction to one, add it to one part of the sentence, connect the two ideas. Right? So when you have to connect two unrelated ideas, you can use these conjunctions. Now these are words we've always been using: until, since, because, although, right? When, as, therefore, that. Another very important word. It may seem insignificant, but it can make an answer right around. Use of that. Right? That can come into your question very slyly as THEN. Then. Right? They will put in, you're reading, there's a huge sentence you are reading. You don't notice whether it is THAN or THEN. So whenever you come across than or THEN, then be alert. See whether it is used properly. Right? Wherever, where, while, provided. How do you use provided in the sentence? Anyone? Provided that.
Would complete the exam on time, provided that we utilize this time.
You can say that somewhat. You will get your credits provided that you submit all your assignments on time. Yeah, so it is conditional. Provided that you do this, this will happen. Okay. Or if you're talking about looking at on the negative way, you will not get your credits unless you submit your assignments. Provided that will be used in a positive sense. Similarly, unless can be used in a negative sense. So I went to the store because I ran out of peanut butter. So you can get questions like two sentences are given to you and you have to connect them in the appropriate manner. So if you have two sentences, I went to the store, or you can say I ran out of peanut butter. Second sentence is I went to the store. Connect the two. So your reason for going to the store is you ran out of peanut butter. So can we write this some other way? You can say I ran out of peanut butter, so I went to the store.
You can also say I went to the store since I ran out of.
Yeah, we can say that.
As,
Right? So
as,
you can say as
I went
I ran out of.
when I ran out.
Hmm?
I went to the store when I ran out of.
You can even say that. Yeah, different ways of saying it. Like although, what does although do? Although is a conjunction that pardon?
I can give an example like let's put that.
Okay, use it in a sentence.
I was in Nadi also I was in
So what did although tell? What is the connection between the two ideas? Is it telling you a reason? Is it setting up a contrast? Is it giving you additional information? What is it doing? It's a contrast. Yeah? So, like in this, although the dragonfly is harmless to human beings, many people are frightened by its appearance. Right? So, what is Olga doing? Setting up a contrast. The dragonfly is harmless, people are afraid of it. Now we can put this sentence in some other way. What can we use instead of although? The format of the sentence can change. Now suppose we want to have many people are frightened of its appearance in the beginning. How will we reform? Reformat the sentence with many people are frightened by its appearance coming in the beginning of the sentence.
However, the dragonfly
We can say even though the dragonfly is harmless to human beings, or yet can also be used. Yeah. Because. How do you use because in this is some birds cannot fly because their wings are too weak to lift their bodies. What is because doing? Giving reason. Right? Cause effect relationship is denoted by because. So whenever you have to give a reason, because can be used in this. The time. So conjunctions, you know how to use them. Whenever you come across a sentence, you will be able to identify and use it correctly. Will you exercise this? So, module 3 happens. Module 3, chapter 1 is prepositions. Chapter 2 is conjunctions. Yeah. So basic theory we have learned. Now you will be applying. Okay. So, okay, everyone please write your homework. Module 3, chapter 1, page 22. Page 22, exercise 1, all questions.
page
22. This is module 3, chapter 1, prepositions, exercise 1. Chapter 2, conjunctions, exercise 1, that will be at the page 4. Okay, so is that?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here, ma'am. I've noted.
These two exercises you have to complete. Yeah.
Ma'am, so, ma'am, confirming, ma'am, chapter 1 and chapter 2 both exercises 1 from
Yeah.
module 3. Okay.
Noted. So this is preposition and conjunction. Yeah. And next Sunday, if anyone comes up with not doing their homework, we will be having an extra lecture every week to sit here and do our assignments. This is the last one. Clear? If you don't do these exercises, then it's no point teaching in class. Okay? Any point? Any? So what we learn in class, we have to see whether we can apply. Okay, so we move on to articles. We know how to use and the we've been using them all the time. We use and also, and is a conjunction. Now, when we use a, we use a. It is something that is called. Should I put this AC off? So a can be used when we are talking about something which is not very common. Okay, anything else? When else can we use a? Okay, what about an? And something.
Easy eating an apple. Easy eating an apple.
An apple, yeah. Something specific or general? Is it specific? So what about the? When would you use a? When would you use the?
Is general, law is specific.
The is specific. Yeah. A pen. He gave me a pen. It's a general pen. He gave me the pen which he had used in class. That becomes specific. Right? So we have some rules then. When you talk about a definite article, then you use the. Right? So when you refer to a specific noun or something that like a singular pronoun, a singular or a plural noun, we can use the. Or singular. Right? And something that is general. So something that is known to the reader, like I was happy to see the policeman who saved my cat. You're talking about a particular policeman. Right? When you're talking about something particular which is known, we use the. Now, if I say I was happy to see a policeman. Anything specific about it?
The policeman, she doesn't know.
Yeah. So there's nothing specific about it. This is the pen I bought yesterday. So you're talking about this specific pen, which I bought yesterday. Now, suppose I say I bought a pen yesterday. Would it be specific? No. It's not specific. This is the apple that fell on Newton. We're talking about a specific apple. If we say an apple fell on Newton, not specific. Yeah. So difference between using the and a is number one, the can be used with plurals, a cannot be used with plurals. A and an are used for something that is not specific. The is used for something that is specific. Now, a and an will be not specific. Something that is indefinite. That's why they're called indefinite articles. Right? Not specific. So a will be used before a singular noun beginning with a consonant, and is used before a singular noun beginning with a verb. This much we know. Okay. Now, what about or and used only with singular, non-specified member of a group or category, something that is not specific. Like I think an animal is in the garage. Right? Now suppose we are talking about a specific animal, what would we say?
The
The sentence would be a little elaborate. So can we convert this into something specific?
I think the animal is in the garage.
Which I saw last night. Yeah. I think the animal which I saw last night is in the garage. So that becomes specific. Okay, that man is a scoundrel. A scoundrel? I'm not talking about a general attribute. We are looking for an apartment. General? Yeah, singular. Identity not known. This is a pen. Oh, an apple. That was easy. Now, is this sentence correct? I own a cat and 2 dogs.
Yes.
It is. Yeah, what are we doing? We are talking about one particular number. Right? Now, vowels and consonants, you know. Okay. Now, what about this? We are an unhappy boy. What is the subject? The boy. We are describing the boy. Why will you use an before unhappy?
Because it's a vowel.
It has a vowel. Adjective with a vowel, we can use an. Or read up. Plural form of o and will be some. Yeah. So whenever you come to a plural form, which is unspecified and limited to one, we use some. An apple, plural will be summer. That's also gentle. Now, if specific identity is known, whether it is singular or plural, we use, what do we use? The. That if the boy sitting next to me raised his hand. Now, if we say, a boy sitting next to me raised his hand.
Well, you could say that it would tell that to someone, like
Yeah. So
Later.
we are not specifying which boy. So the boy, we are saying, okay, this particular boy. A boy, in general, some boy sitting next to me. Both sentences are correct. Your context changes. So you will use a or the in that case, depending upon the context. Now, when you're talking about advice, thank you for the advice you gave me. Is that right?
Yes.
We're talking about a particular advice you gave. So, the advice. Okay, advice is with a C, is noun or verb? Advice.
Mom, it's a noun. This with the
Noun.
C, it's a noun.
With a C, always remember advice with a C is noun. If you were to say that, if you were to use it as a verb, it will be SE. It is also very important. Advice with an S and a C, the usage changes. C is a, now another thing to identify a noun, you have the. The in front of a word means it's a noun. In front of a word, it's a noun. Now, if I say, please advise me on this, what will your word be? How is it used? Advise me on this. It's a verb.
Yes.
So it will be with an S. Right? So these words we will come across later also, but as we go on, we can identify. Okay, what about this? I ate an apple yesterday. The apple was juicy and delicious. Is it correct?
Yes.
What's Anne doing? Telling you about an apple which is not specific. The apple. Why the apple? That particular apple I ate yesterday. Right? So it becomes specific. Now, if you're talking about abstract nouns or things in general, then what article do we use or we don't use any article? What do we do? So there is a rule, no article with plural count nouns or any non-count nouns, where it means like trees are beautiful in the fall. Trees is referring to all trees in general. Do we use any article in front of it? No, we don't need an article. So we don't need any article when we are talking about things in general or abstract nouns. So he was asking for advice. Would we say an advice or the advice? No. Here, asking for advice in general. So it becomes an abstract noun. Right? Q. I do not like coffee. A general statement?
Yes.
So no article required. Let's look at this. She sent me a postcard from Italy. In general, a postcard, nothing specific.
Yes.
Yes, please. What about this? It's the postcard that I have in my office. Context is the postcard from Italy. Right? So it becomes specific. I'm talking about a specific postcard. So we're using the. Getting postcards makes me want to travel. What this sentence talking about? Is it specific or is it general?
General.
Is it abstract?
Yeah.
Do we need an article? Getting postcards means in general all postcards. So what's the difference between these three sentences? First one, we are talking about a postcard I received, but not specific.
It's not an abstract.
But it is not general in the sense that the third sentence is talking. Right? Second sentence is talking about a specific postcard. Right? So this is the difference between using articles. When we are talking about something that we know, but it is not specific. Oh, something that is specific, we use the, whether it is plural or singular. And something that is generalized, no articles required. So we won't say getting the postcards make me want to travel more. Now, this is something, let's look at this. Now we have to use the before something that is one of its kind in the universe. Something unique. Like moon. There's only one moon. So we use the moon, the sun, the earth. The earth revolves around the sun. Do we say earth revolves around the sun? No. The sun, the Mars, they are all one of their kind. Okay. Now, when it is something unique, the theory of relativity, something unique. Yeah. So something specific or something unique, you use the 2003 federal budget. Yeah. There's only one of them. Okay, what about geographical places? Always the Okay, so well, if it is United Countries, like you will say the USA, the United Kingdom, the Republic of China. Right? So it means it is not one single entity, it is a group. So United Countries, grouped place names, large regions, not small regions, large regions, deserts, peninsulas, oceans, the Indian Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, right? We use these, but do we notice? Yeah, so now you know when we are talking about large or group of islands, the archipelago, right? Like the Gobi Desert, it's a large desert. The United Arab Emirates. He traveled to the UAE. We're talking about a group of countries, not a single. But when you say the India, no. The Germany, where's the single entity? The Sacramento River, it's a large river. The Ganges, yes. Okay. Okay. Now, but we will not use the when we are talking about, say, street names, parks, cities, states, particular single states, countries, which are not groups, continents. We don't use the. The Asia.
And there is spelling history, right?
Where?
After the states, in the countries.
Oh, sorry. Countries, TR. Thanks. Continents, base, single lakes. Yeah? A single lake, you will not use. But suppose we are talking about the Great Lakes of USA. It's a combination of 5 lakes, 5 or 6 lakes. So they will use the, but otherwise not. Like Mount Everest. Do we say the Mount Everest? Chicago? San Francisco Bay? No. We once use the. Now when we use non-count nouns, yeah, I know. It's finishing this. So when you're talking about items that we drink, what do we do? What do we use before that? Something that cannot be counted? Do we use the order? No. Right? Certain non-food substances like air, cement, coal, we don't need an order. Right? Anger, do we use an article for that? It's an abstract noun. Right? Abstract nouns, no articles are used. Study areas, studies, say math or biology or math, the math. No. When we name sports, we treat them as proper nouns. Right? Languages, no articles. These also furniture, homework. Did you do a homework? Yes or no? Right? Okay, we'll continue with these. I'll share this, you will go through them.
Yes.
And I want your assignment, 2 exercises done, and anybody with pending assignments, please complete. Yeah? And we'll notify you on the class test. Yeah, we'll be starting with class test. Okay, ready? Any doubts so far?
No, ma'am.
So,
No, ma'am.
But I'm getting relief. We will practice it. We can leave.
yes.
Good
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good day.
Good day.